I saw you post that picture of you in that supercomputer down in Florida, and I want to ask you about AI. We can close on this one. Obviously, the whole world's been paying attention to AI, mainly because of ChatGPT. In December, it came out and really woke everybody up to it. They went from 0 to 1 million customers in, I think, 4 days, which is the fastest adoption of technology in human history that I'm aware of, then up to 100 million customers in a month. And now they released ChatGPT 4, and now everyone's talking about when is the AGI coming, artificial general intelligence. Even an interview recently with Sam Altman asking the interviewer, is this AGI? Do you think it's AGI? We've been following this closely. I've had Ben Goertzel on, who's the Chief Science Officer of Singularity Net. He's been on the show before, talking about some of the ramifications. What do you see here, Jim? What do you see?
Well, AI is exploding, and it's, biggest topic in certainly technology circles, but also other circles, financial, military, business, et cetera. Because if the AI lives up to its promise, then there's a whole bunch of problems in all those fields that could get solved almost overnight. Medicine, et cetera. So it's exciting, a little daunting, and there were three things you need. My first AI conversation was with a consultant from Arthur D. Young in like 1979. So I mean, it's been around. There are writings from Aristotle, 2300 BC, where he was speculating about what happens when it was, basically a spinning wheel, a loom kind of thing. What happens when the loom works itself and you don't need to do it by hand? What do we do with all the leisure time? So this is Aristotle, right? Alan Turing in the 1950s, same thing. So there's a lot of writings on it. So why is it so big right now? We need three things. One, you need a theory or a vision. Kind of need to know what it is. That's what Alan Turing provided. Then you need data. Like a fast computer doesn't matter if you don't have billion pages of data. And that really kind of came along in the 90s with the World Wide Web and search engines and all the rest. So, okay, now we got the theory. Now we got the data. We got access to the data. The missing ingredient, the third thing, was processing speed. It kept getting faster, Moore's law, but now we're there. So you can, and then self-learning, which is, okay, the computer kind of talks to itself. Like a computer produces an output, but it evaluates its own work and says, I could have done that a little bit better. So I'll change my code myself, meaning the machine, to make it better the last time. Well, now when you're into machine learning, you don't know where the machine's going. Like, what the output is, what it can do kind of, but you don't know how anymore because you're not coding it. It's off on its own. And then ultimately, do the machines take over, Terminator and all that? And there are legitimate concerns. There are some safeguards. But one of the things that we've seen already is that the machines will make things up. Like there was a guy who said, he was on ChatGPT and he said, tell me about, and the blank was himself. He put his name in. Tell me all about so-and-so. Machine took a few minutes, came back with a pretty good biography. It's like, born, et cetera. And the guy's reading it and it said, died in 2019. It's like, I think I'm still alive. But he queried the machine. He goes back, well, what did he die of? But the machine came back with like a pretty good description of how he died and the obituary and all that. Well, it turns out this journalist who was doing this was the obituary writer for one of the top UK publications. I forget if it was the Daily Mail or whatever, but he was the obituary writer. So the machine got obituary, on the brain, so to speak. It's not a brain, but whatever. And but the machine made it up. And that was the striking part. The machine, I warned, I was with my colleagues, and we're down in Florida, University of Florida, but the picture you saw of me was with the Hypergator. The Hypergator is the third fastest non-government computer in the world. So there might be some faster ones at Los Alamos and, Sandia Lab and all that. But this thing, and it turns out that the founder of Chris Malinowski of NVIDIA was an alumni of the University of Florida. I mean, I'm kind of new to the whole SEC thing and all that. I've been involved in the field, but you get down at the University of Florida. I mean, the Gator loyalty, the Gators, their alligators, their motto. Their mascot. So they refer to themselves as double Gators or triple Gators if you have 2 degrees or whatever. Anyway, the NVIDIA founder is a Gator. He's a Florida alum. He donated these things, like banks of NVIDIA, top high-end processors, faster than the ones they use in Bitcoin mining. So they built this machine, and it's unbelievable. And I was taking a tour of it with the engineer. But another thing that's going on. So these computers make things up, but beyond that, they feed on information. So we're already you mentioned information warfare, Brian, and you're right. But imagine information warfare conducted in an AI environment. So some of the bad actors, malevolent actors, are already flooding the internet with false information that the computer will hoover up and not know is false information, but will include it in its analysis. This is like planes putting out chaff to mess up radar, and stuff like that. So if you know the computer is going to suck up all the information to produce a report, you can flood the zone with false information that will throw the computer off. And now how do you know? Because you can't see the code anymore because the computer's doing it on its own. So a lot of things like that. So yeah, I mean, it's a very deep field, moving fast. I'm involved in it from a national security perspective with a great team of colleagues, and under the umbrella of the University of Florida, Florida Institute for National Security. But one last thing, and they're saying that artificial intelligence is the death of the search engine, and it is and that's why Google's all over AI. Google's done. The Google search engine it's probably obsolete already. I used one this morning, but it's probably obsolete, and the others. But we're all going to have chat, whatever, GPT, generalized, pre-trained AI systems. But I can tell you what's going to wipe out AI, because your viewers like to move a couple steps ahead, right? We're coming out the end of a 2,300-year-old tunnel that we entered with Plato, when Plato in chapter 10 of the Republic trashed Homer, said we got to get past Homer. And everyone's like, hey, Homer's a pretty good poet. Plato's a pretty good philosopher. Why is he trashing Homer? Well, the answer is Homer never wrote a thing. It was all oral. It was all recited over and over and over. And that's how you memorize it. And later on, somebody wrote it down. And Plato was a writer, and he insisted that we had to use the phonetic alphabet to get into writing. We've been doing that ever since, like about the stages and Gutenberg and the printing press and all that. You got to go back to Marshall McLuhan and others to follow that thread. But we're now in a world where we're leaving the phonetic alphabet behind. We're coming out the other end of that tunnel. And you see it, and I don't mean this in a frivolous way, hip hop, rap. What's an emoji? Yeah. It's a hieroglyphic. What's a QR code? It's a hieroglyphic. And as we're going visual, oral in the AURAL sense, Marshall McLuhan said when they sent out the first satellite, the entire globe became a human artifact because we wrapped it in aluminum foil. So the point being, and this, by the way, maybe another day we'll talk about how this relates to Bitcoin, but when you leave the phonetic alphabet behind, all those billions and billions and billions of pages and all that code, all based on the alphabet, suddenly becomes obsolete.
It's a powerful message. You just said that. Yeah, I was actually just listening to the chief technical officer of OpenAI, and they were talking about how the AIs need to learn from other mediums, right? Because they've been studying all of the written text that man's ever created, but there's layers and layers and layers above that. And like you said, the future is understanding that layer of communication. Yeah, there's a lot to think here. I'm definitely keeping my eye on the AI. I think most people are sleeping on it. And, it just moves so fast when it does move that, look, the next few years are going to be very spicy, to say the least. Right. So Jim Rickards has just recorded a video that's not available to anyone in the public, and he's going to be talking about how this upcoming recession is going to be fast, it's going to be bloody, it's going to be nasty. But at the same time, he's going to show you how you can position yourself to profit from all of this chaos. Now, we've made this video only available to our viewers. Go to londonreal.tv/Jim. Watch that immediately. I can't say enough good things about Jim Rickards. He understands the global economic system better than any guest I've ever had on London Real. His predictions are almost uncannily true, and you can learn how to profit from his vision, from his expertise, and his understanding of economics. So go to londonreal.tv/Jim or click the link below. It's an excellent, excellent look on what's going to happen in the future and how you can position yourself to profit from that. Jim is one of the best in the business, one of my favorite guests on London Real, and he's very, very good at predicting the future and showing us all to profit from it. So click the link, and I hope you enjoy. The greedy bankers are about to do it again. In 2008, they crashed our financial system and nearly bankrupted the entire global economy. Then they received trillions of dollars in government bailouts. And after, they demanded fat bonuses paid for by you, the taxpayer.
It turns out the banks haven't just been screwing the American taxpayers, they're also screwing over their investors. Turns out the banking industry is the worst place you could put your money, despite enormous taxpayer bailouts.
Now the bankers are back to take away your financial freedom. They lie and tell you that cryptocurrency isn't safe. They try to make it illegal for you to choose how to invest your hard-earned money. They lie and say cryptocurrency is used by money launderers and criminals. But look at the record. It's the banks themselves that launder hundreds of billions of dollars every year to the biggest criminal operations in the world.
Leaked documents have revealed how some UK banks have helped criminals, money launderers and Russians under sanctions.
American authorities discovered that the Sinaloa cartel moved $881 million through HSBC accounts as bank officials turned a blind eye to the illegality.
The bankers lie and say cryptocurrency is not a real investment. Meanwhile, the smartest CEOs in the world are buying billions and billions of it. The truth is that banks lie about cryptocurrency because it makes them scared. The banks take $9 trillion per year of your hard-earned money, and they are worried that they will finally be exposed. They're scared because crypto means they can no longer control your money, which means they can no longer control you. They are scared because you might actually understand your money and intelligently decide what to do with it. Now is the time for us to come together, fight back, and take control. It's time to educate ourselves, our families, and our communities. Because financial education means financial freedom. We know that cryptocurrencies will help us build the new decentralized financial system of the future. A banking system that is of the people, by the people, and for the people. A banking system where access to finance is a fundamental human right. A banking system that is free and fair and welcomes all humans on this earth. The DeFi revolution is happening. We, the people, can no longer be fooled. We choose to take control of our finances. We choose to take control of our freedom. We choose to take control of our future. Join us, and let's take back our financial freedom forever.